Welcome back to another sampling phenomena. Thank you so much for being here again with me. Today we're going to talk about another technique used and created by our pioneers in hip hop, which is the low pass filter. This is a very simple technique. There really isn't much to it. All you have to do, or all you need to have, is a low pass filter. Obviously you need to find the sample. That's the hardest part. But once you have the sample, all you need is to apply a low pass filter to the sample and you're ready to go. Sampling Phenomena is brought to you by TrackLib. We're doing this together for you guys, just talking about the history of hip hop and going through the production history as well, talking about the techniques that were used and are still used today. Many producers use this. I'll play you some of them so you guys can listen to it.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm gonna knock you out. Don't pick up the cheek, rock it round. So jump up off the tip, you're not my knocker. Who the man there, go and rap on my door. Stir me at work, only load up for.
They would use this for different purposes. One of them is to enhance the low end, to enhance the bass of the sample, because some of these samples didn't really have a lot of bass. They would create two layers, one with a sample and another one with a low pass filter. And they would increase the volume on that second layer with the low pass filter, and that would increase the volume of the low end. You can also use it when you have an MC on a track. That way you can just apply the low pass and have the MC just rhyme over the low end. It just gives room for the MC to do his thing. Or lastly, one of the ways that I like to use the most is just to take out the bass and just use it with other samples from other songs. One of the problems with this technique is you always get kind of muddy bass sound, so it's really hard to get around that. You can use some compression, or you can try to EQ it as best as you can, but it will always sound a little bit muddy. I cooked up a beat for you guys, but let's go into TrackLib first. Let me show you where I got the sample from. So choosing a track here for this beat, I had something in mind, so I went straight for genres, and I just wanted something jazzy. I wanted something, well, it kind of relates to my sound, the way I work, but I wanted something to go back to that jazz era of the 90s. So I just went straight for jazz. I dug for some special samples, so I went through a lot of these sounds. This is where I found it. Guido Manuzardi. Search for all the stuff that he has in here. And there were a few things, a few songs that stood out, like this one. You know, I added it to my collection. You can see it right there. So that's definitely what I was looking for, and I ended up chopping this one. Sampling Phenomena is brought to you in collaboration with TrackLib. TrackLib, it's an online platform dedicated and specially curated for beat makers that use sampling as their tool to produce music. The thing that separates TrackLib from going in and digging in record stores is partly its crate digging focus and features like multi-tracks, digging by genre, artist, or labels. And you can also filter by the release date and the region. TrackLib does all this and then allows you to clear your samples for the low and in minutes. Okay, we have the sample ready. I made a pattern with it, but if you listen, the bass sound isn't really all that prominent. So what I did, and this is what they did back in the days, is to create a second layer. So I have a second track exactly with the same samples, but these samples have a low pass filter on them. That's it. So I just applied a low pass filter on the whole program for all of the samples, all the chops, and now they're all playing just that low end. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce that to the whole beat. So I have my drums going. And now I'm going to put the bass in, okay? So notice when I put the bass in with the low pass filter, you'll hear more of that bass come in. Okay, and that's it. So it's super simple. Just create a second layer with a low pass. What you can do as well on the first layer that has the full sample, you can apply a high pass and cut that low end, because now you have a low pass, you have a second layer with a low pass. You can really set them apart, and one be the sample with the top with the high end and the other one with the low end. It's really up to you. It's a preference thing. I'm going to keep mine as is and just add that extra low end to the sample. So that's one way of doing it, okay? So what you can do here as well is to mute that sample part and have it just that bass play. So if you have an MC on top of that beat, it really frees up some space for the MC to put his lyrics on top of the beat. Another reason why you would use this technique as well is for you just to take that low end, just keep it, don't even mind about what is on the high frequencies. Just use that low end and mix it with other samples. Like I have some horns here on the side as well, and you can do it like this. You can bring a lot of other samples and just mix them together with that bass. And that's basically how you use this technique. So it's a very simple technique to use. You can bring a lot more out of the sample if you have this extra technique, if you're using this just to create changes in your beat or just to boost up your low frequencies as well in your samples. Hope you guys enjoy it. And that was it for the low pass filter technique. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like what I do here on the channel and with the sampling phenomena as well, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.